But either one of you brothers, because I yielded my, and I'll never come at you with my agnostic perspective, but I do want to ask you a question to see if it aligns with mine's answer. The Hammurabi stele, which we know Hammurabi to be the Babylonian god in 1700 BC or so, he gave at that time a big portion of the world the Hammurabi law code. Um, this predates Moses by a minimum of 500 years to 800 years. Why didn't God introduce himself to us prior to that?
When you go with that dating that they're using, you got to push their timeline about 300 to 400 years up. And so then the argument would just be, are they contemporaries and who copied from who? The argument with the Hammurabi Code is the same argument with, I don't know if you're familiar with Amino Pope, I believe, or Amino Pep, when it comes to Proverbs and the wisdom of Amino Pep. So the argument really is not about why they didn't give it to Moses first, but actually who wrote it first based on the dating system. The dating system that they use, whether it be carbon dating, whether it be the King's List of Egypt, is very fragile. It's not actually accurate. I could send you an article where the timeline should be pushed back about 400 to 500 years, which then once you put it in the correct timeline, the Amino Pope's wisdom actually copies from Solomon, and then it would be the same thing with the Hammurabi Code and um, Solomon. I'm sorry, and I'm assuming you're talking about Deuteronomy with the law, right? That's what you're talking about.
Well, just what if we look up, if we try to timestamp Moses, it's somewhere between, and this no one actually knows, but the timestamp, if you seek this information out, will be somewhere between, I'll be generous, 1350 and 1100 BC is
It would
the.
actually be different. It would actually probably be a little more different because the argument suggests that the time should be pushed back further because
What
the
argument
timeline
is
that they
that?
have. Well, there is because the timelines that they're utilizing is incorrect. Let's say if you take
How do
the
you know
Egyptian
that?
king, I'm about to answer. Let's say if you take the Egyptian kings list, for example, the Egyptian kings list, you can't really use that because sometimes when you have Upper Egypt and Lower Egypt, you have pharaohs or kings ruling at the same time. So it's not a linear timeline. Even if you use to look up Alan Gardner, who's considered the father of Egyptology, he'll tell you that the timeline that they use is fragile and outdated. Let's say if you go with carbon dating. Carbon dating is horrible because you can only go so far back to where you're just putting an assumption of what the carbon regulation would be during that time. So like you could take a rock, like let's you could take a volcano. They did this study. You can look this up. They did a study where this volcano erupted in Hawaii, I believe, or yeah, I believe it was Hawaii. When that lava broke and the lava formed, they knew that it was like 1953 that that particular rock formed. But when they carbon dated it, you had 3 million years old, it was carbon dated. Then you had 66 million years old that it was carbon dated. So the dating format that they utilize is incorrect.
You
But when you
don't
push it
carbon
back,
date rocks. That's
all you
why
got to
you
do
get
is just
that's why you get bad numbers.
no problem.
You don't use carbon dating on rocks. You use
You can just look at
radioisometric dating.
you can just look up even
I
the
have looked it up.
radioisom.
I've looked into this claim the first time I heard Kent Hovind make it 15 years ago. You
I
don't
don't know
carbon
who.
date rocks. You use
No problem.
radioisometric dating on
Oh,
rocks.
yeah,
Why
the
don't you?
Man, you don't know
radioisometric,
nothing about Ken Hovey, man. That's
Oh
my
no,
wait,
that's
brother.
wait,
my tag team. No, chill. That's
the
my guy. I roll that.
the radioisometric dating or whatever dating that they use. Let's say if
You
I
said
got the term
carbon
wrong,
dating.
no problem. Let's say if I got
Yeah,
the
I
term
want you to
wrong.
cite that. Cite where they
I
use
don't know why you so
radioisometric
touchy if
dating and
I'm
got it
saying,
off
let's
by
say if I got,
66
I
million
don't know
years.
why you so,
It's a
I just
debate,
don't know
brother.
why you
Don't
so,
get sensitive, brother. It's a debate.
who's sensitive?
Well, no,
Do you
no,
know me?
I do want. I want to hear what the brother trying to say. What are you
I
trying to
just,
say? No.
no, who said don't get sensitive? You must not know me. That's what I do. I debate. I don't get sensitive.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
I
But
don't.
we shouldn't be worried about somebody else's tone. Just get your point across, brother. Let's go.
I'm not worried. But if he can talk slick to me, my response can
Yeah,
be
yeah, yeah, yeah,
condescending,
yeah. We
right?
don't. We you.
Right. So
We
you shouldn't have a problem with that then. If he
just
can do what
continue,
he do,
brother.
then I could do.
Continue, brother.
Right.
Continue.
But you had to tell me that I
I'm
can be
crying.
condescending too,
Dog,
Yeah,
because I
bro,
know
we
you
how
can
to
so
move
debate.
on though.
No, Captain.
I am.
Captain. All listen. I was talking. Oh, he's not even in the room anymore. Oh, Mind.
Mm.
I'm sorry. I was talking to Mind, and then he tag teamed you in, right? So no
I don't have a
name.
problem with the tag team. Yeah, I don't have a
Okay.
problem with the
That's my
yeah,
bad.
yeah. I don't have a problem with none. Yeah, that I ain't got a problem with none of that. I just rebuttal people's coming at me a different kind of way, and it seems like they can't handle mine. I can handle this. I'm not bothered by it. Like I debate for a living. So let's say if I got the term carbon dating wrong and it's the radio isometric, the fact still remains that when that rock was formed in the 50s, the dating system that they used for that rock was incorrect. So the three you have the Egyptians list, you have Manito's list, you have carbon dating that they use for the dating, and all of them have errors and flaws in them. So what archaeologists have done as when they push the timeline back about 300 to 400 years, you can find that the archaeology that they find matches more in that timeline. So when it comes to the Hammurabi Code, it really just becomes a dating who did what first. And once you get the dating right, you'll see that the Deuteronomy, at best, you could either say they was contemporaries or that Deuteronomy would come first. I don't see the big deal overall because every nation has a moral, like in America, they have rules and laws. If you go to Spain, they have rules and laws. If you go to Germany, they have rules and laws. So countries having rules and laws that are similar are not a big deal.
Well,
But
it's
every
a big.
country,
Oh, my
no,
bad.
no,
Go
you good.
ahead.
You no, no, you good, Tamara. You good.
Yeah, it's a big deal because, and I just changed my PTR to the Hammurabi stone.
Hmm.
It is a picture of the Babylonian god Shamash handing over the code. And it will be one thing, I don't believe that there's any evidence to suggest that the Israelite God was around during this time because this would be after Moses. That also brings into
You mean
question.
before Moses?
Yeah, before Moses. This would
Hmm.
also bring into question why the Egyptians had their own gods with different names. The Moabites, as I believe you were alluding to the
Right. They
earlier.
had Kemosh. Yeah, they had Kemosh
Right,
as their
there were
god.
different gods, but
But how
it's
did they validate the Moabite god from the because they invalidated the Moabite god until they found that tablet. But when
right,
the
which
Bible, right, but the Bible wrote about Moab, and that was like one of the arguments they would say to say, see, the Bible's not real because there's no such nation as Moab. And then lo and behold, archaeology caught up with the records of the Bible, and then now they validate the Bible. So even if you go to the different gods and stuff that they have, every culture, for example, the flood, if you take Noah's Ark, the flood story, the Bible has its version, but because it was a worldwide event shared by different nations because it affected different cultures, they all have a flood story. So you have the Enuma Elish. Egypt has a couple of flood stories. You have the Bible have a flood story. They all tell it in their own way, but they all have this one cataclysmic event that they all share. So when you say
What's
before,
one thing that all human beings can't go more than about 3 days without?
well, I mean,
H2O.
Fresh water. Where does the vast majority of human beings, both today and historically, live?
well, they live
Within a couple
everywhere
of
now.
miles of a
Of
river
water,
or a
right, right.
coastline.
Without water, they would
Right,
starve.
right.
Right, the
So
crops wouldn't grow, stuff
how
like
much
that.
of a stretch is it to say that all these cultures have flood myths in common because they all lived on rivers?
Well,
Damn.
it's interesting that you say flood myth because every last one of them, the flood destroyed. It was bigger than just a river. The Enuma Elish tells it like it was a cataclysmic worldwide event. The
No, it
Bible
doesn't.
does.
The Enuma Elish says the water got to within 20 cubits in height.
How tall is that?
It's about, I don't know, 100 feet.
Bro, that argument
So
is
wait, wait,
trash,
wait, wait,
bro.
wait, wait, wait,
No, hold
wait,
on, hold
wait,
on, wait,
wait,
wait, wait.
wait.
Hold on,
Listen,
wait. Let me
wait,
say
wait,
this quick,
mine. Let me
real
not
just
his
quick.
say. I
not his
just gotta
brother
make a
mine,
joke.
man.
Hold
I
Mute
just
up,
on.
gotta
man.
Let me
make.
just
Wait, I
say
just
this
want to
one
make.
quick piece.
I'm
Let me
asking
say
him
this
if I
one.
could just
Hold
make a
on. Let
joke.
me,
Go ahead.
bro.
Go
Hold
ahead.
on. Let me say this one quick piece of this, brother, because this is an irrelevant concept that you're bringing up. because the worldwide flood is worldwide flood. It wasn't something that just happened one time. I mean, happened a whole bunch of different times and things like that. So if there's evidence of a worldwide flood, then that's what that is. And
There is
it
an
might have
evidence
affected
for a
certain. It
But
worldwide
might have
mine,
flood.
he
affected. Hold
said,
on,
but
hold on.
my
I know. Listen to what I'm saying. Let me finish. What I'm saying is that if it would have affected, it could have and would have affected different areas differently based on elevation of the earth and things like that. So you can't account, and you wasn't there to determine the different layers or levels that each city or country or whatever was at. So you can't say what damage it did to what cities and what's you can't do that, bro. It's not no way that you can do it. Nobody can do it.
But
But
wasn't
mine,
Noah
what
the
I
only
wanted to say,
survivor?
but wait, but mine, what I wanted to bring out, he said it didn't get that high. I said, how high it get? He said about 20 cubits. I said, how high is that? He said 100 feet. If you saw 100 feet of water right now, you would write about how catastrophic that event was. 100 feet is tall,
It's not enough
especially
to
if it
cover
was.
Yes, but
mountains,
it
though. I
doesn't
mean,
mean
that's
that God
I'm not
did.
talking,
hyperbolic.
I didn't say nothing about what it covered. I
But even
said,
if it
they,
did,
Like the
but even
Bible
if it
says it
did,
covered mountains.
I said what I said was
Mountains are
they all we
thousands of
wasn't
feet
talking
high.
about, well, we wasn't talking about the Bible. We was talking about the
Oh,
Enuma
we
Elish.
weren't?
No, I said every culture had one. When I highlighted the
Right.
Enuma
But
Elish,
I'm
when I
not
highlighted,
debating every culture. I'm debating a
right, but
Christian right now, aren't
no,
I?
no, you made mention when I mentioned the Enuma Elish. Don't get off of that because it was the Enuma Elish that
Yeah,
I mentioned, and you said
I
no,
was pointing
right,
out
but you said
differences
100
in the
feet, but
flood
you made it
story.
seem like 100 feet is not big.